Hey everybody, so we have some awesome news for you today. We just got the opportunity to partner with the app Fitbod. And for those of you who haven't heard of it, it is a fantastic app that will allow you to have a personal trainer in your pocket on your phone that you have access to at any point in time. It's not a person, it's an app that will take your fitness goals, your health goals, and transcribe them into personalized workouts just for you. They can do home workouts, body weight workouts, they can do full gym equipment workouts. You can actually select the muscles you want to target as well as the equipment you have available, and they will build you a workout based strictly off that, and they'll calculate the time it takes to do that workout. So you can choose if you have 15 minutes, 30 minutes, even an hour, and they'll build you a workout just for that. So we're very fortunate to have this. I've been using Fitbod for a long time and I love them. I love the app. So in regards to our partnership, they've actually made it even better for you guys. If you want to join now, you can type in the promo code MEGAN25. That's MEGAN 25 when you download the app from Fitbod. That gets you 25% off. The annual membership is around $50. So a general partnership with a personal trainer, 1 hour long session is a minimum of $60. So you're actually only paying $50 a year for a personal trainer anytime you want it, as many times a day as you want it. It's fantastic. They have a free edition as well. I've had the paid membership for years and I will never go back. It's fantastic. So I recommend checking them out. If you decide to get it, if you decide to download it, make sure you use the promo code MEGAN25. You'll get 25% off, and you'll also be supporting our podcast because any funds that we get from that transaction go back into our podcast account to download more equipment, software updates, anything like that. So you're helping us too. So it's a win-win, and I know you guys will love it. All right, guys, and here's our show. Hey guys, so before you listen to today's episode, I want you to send me a text at 336-310-9081 and tell me your biggest problem plaguing you at this stage in your life. And I'm doing this because I want to help in any way I can, whether it's my professional coaching experience or maybe something I've gleaned from my own personal experiences, or maybe I have some materials that can help you, a PDF, a CD, a podcast, a book, some sort of idea to get you through your situation, guys. It never hurts to ask, and I'm not charging anything for this. This is honestly because I want to help give you guys the most value out of this podcast. So please text me, seriously, 336-310-9081. And I realize many of you may not have social media accounts, so DMing me, messaging me, things like that probably isn't a good way for you guys to get up with me if you don't have a social media account. And it occurred to me recently that I'm really limiting some of you with contacting me. So I can always be reached by text. Hit me up at that number. And I also want to get you guys on the phone for a whole host of other reasons, so we can actually get to know each other. I'd like to get to know my audience a little bit better, and I've had that privilege on social media with so many of you, and I'm so grateful for that. But I'd like a more intimate setting, a voice-to-voice kind of contact. And out of this, I want to kind of build coaching sessions into these conversations for free, and use some of those recorded sessions for future podcast episodes to help the remaining listeners out there. So if you guys are down with this, you think it's a good idea, you want to participate in the program, please text me 336-310-9081. So moving on to some other orders coming up in the world today. Starting with this podcast, I'm actually revamping our Patreon to include new levels of lifestyles. So how this is going to work is each level in Patreon, ranging from $5 to say $100, is going to be a different level of lifestyle you want to work towards designing for yourself. And it's going to be more complicated than me just giving out like the rich and famous lifestyle. It's going to be, do you want to travel more? Do you want a family lifestyle? Do you want to be, head honcho at work? And there's going to be more wrapped into it than that. But there's going to be specific coaching in line with all of those things. It's not going to be specific to just your career or just your family life. In fact, we'll have a customized lifestyle that you can make yourself, where you decide what you want and we come up with a plan to help you get there. And we'll incorporate PDFs, exercises, workbooks, assignments. Yes, you will have homework, but I promise you, you'll be thankful for it in the long run. But it's going to be an easy platform where you can go to get extra episodes of the podcast, extra content, and anything else I can think of to possibly give you guys to help you on your route to greatness. And I know that a lot of the content I could put out there may be applicable to some of you and not all of you. So I'm trying this new lifestyle levels to help each of you grow and take what will help you and leave the rest behind. So each level will start with, will encompass finances, relationships, if you're married, marriages, friendships, things like that, on top of, your work atmosphere, health, everything like that. So we're going to find out what area we need to start with first and work from there. And each lifestyle will be different. It will be approached differently, and especially in the sense that if you customize your own, meaning that you don't do a pick list, you decide to customize which lifestyle you want, and we can craft it from there. So if this sounds like something you're interested in, again, hit me up. Let me know your thoughts. I'm always open to collaboration if you guys have any good ideas, things that you're looking for specifically from us. Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and start the designing process and see how it all shakes out for you guys. You'll have to give me feedback along the way and let me know if you want to see more or less of some things. So now that we've ripped in a Patreon and everything like that, I want to talk about what's next on the podcast. So our next episode, I hope to include some local businesses to provide you with ideas and information for your shopping experiences this year, because I want to promote our listeners to shop locally. I want to have you guys looking into, if you're local to Kernersville, I want to give you guys some options that you may not even know are available for some really unique gift ideas that you can find right here in your hometown, supporting your hometown local businesses rather than, Walmart, Target, any of the other locations that will happily accept your money, but you may not be helping your local economy so much as you think. So the next podcast, I hope to include a lot of these guys, quick interviews with them, tell you what they're about, what they have to offer, what kind of specials they'll be running. We'll try to run through this as fast as we can. I'm not sure how many businesses I can fit into one podcast episode. That being said, we may break them up into a series of episodes, but we will always have the information in our episode notes. So be sure to check that out. All right, moving on. So what I've been listening to. So I'm kind of trying to rope some stuff into you guys to kind of help you in all areas of your life, right? But I also like to include some little known facts about myself. You guys probably already know I'm a complete nerd. I love to read, and I have a really weird interest in books. I like nonfiction, sciencey stuff, history stuff, but I also like to read about cold cases. And out of that, I have found an amazing podcast called Crime Junkies. And this show is ridiculously cool, creepy, and addicting in all the best possible ways, all at the same time. And all I really have to say is full body chills. Because if you're a chronic listener, you already know what that means. But the show's amazing. It talks about cold cases, how missing persons, how you should always have a if I go missing folder. They'll be sure to tell you what should be in that folder. But there's so much information that they give you. You'll learn about some really cool cases that are really obscure and I didn't know about until I first started listening to their podcast. I'm also still listening to Gary Vaynerchuk, of course, because each of you probably know I mention him at least once a week, once a podcast. I stay listening to that man. He's like my entrepreneurial Bible. He's got a lot of great thoughts, a lot of great ideas, and he really keeps you up to date on the current trends in the business world. So if you're not listening to him, make sure you subscribe to him as well. If you're not listening to us, make sure you subscribe to us, because I know a lot of you listeners out there aren't subscribed. I know you. I will find you. I'm just kidding. But really, though, If you like this podcast and you want to get all the most current updates, including private streams and things like that, make sure you subscribe to this podcast to get all the latest updates. I want to also talk about what I've been reading. I just have been absorbed in Extreme Ownership. It's a book written by Jocko Willink, and I think you pronounce his name Leaf Babin, but I could be completely wrong. Again, I have not researched that like I should. But regardless, this book is freaking phenomenal for so many reasons. So if you're a business guru, entrepreneur, and you've seen the title in a bookstore and you haven't picked it up yet because you think it's going to be just another book full of war stories, you're totally wrong. And not only that, but I'm 99.9% sure you could be missing out on one of the greatest leadership books written in this century. Maybe of this generation and time, I don't know. But I'm learning so many things in this book that I never would have learned otherwise, whether through podcasts or classes or courses or MBAs. I'm learning a great deal. So if you guys want to learn how to lead from the front and really build a team and build your team up as you go, this is the book for you. It's a lot of good advice, and it's not filtered out or anything like that. He gives it to you straight up, just like he would in his podcast, Jocko's the Man. So that's a great book I've been reading. I highly recommend it. For quotes I've been pondering. So many of you that follow our social media, and more specifically my social media, have likely already seen one of my favorite quotes this week because I posted it literally everywhere. Sorry, not sorry. So the quote is, "I've only ever had one house motto. Fuck you. Pay me. Things like exposure or reaching new audiences or having a great experience are all well and good, but they don't pay the rent or put food on the table. Know your worth." This quote is like hearing Lizzo's song, Good as Hell. Yes, honey. Yes. Like I hear that song come on and I'm like, this is my jam. Like I can conquer any damn thing. I hear this quote and I'm like, yes, speak my truth. I felt this. And I know so many of you do, but so many of us don't want to speak that because it sounds shallow. But here's what I've come to learn. The reason this is one of my favorite quotes is because I spent years allowing one organization in particular to treat me like I was absolute shit. I won't go into details just yet, but I assure you my story will come out and I will share it with you guys very soon. Basically, I just thought that was how things were. I was supposed to give up on my weekends, holidays, time away from my families, free time, and overtime to the company for a paycheck that barely covered my mortgage, let alone any other real bills. And on top of that, I was getting treated like crap. Disrespected, hazed, you name it. I was going through that, and I just thought it was part of the process of adulting. Right? Wrong. And I'm so fucking glad I now know this is a complete lie, because if I would have kept living my life stuck there, believing that, I can't imagine what I would feel like today. I can't imagine where I would be. Because now that I know it's a lie, I know I can break it. I know that I can get out of any situation because I know the truth. And I hope to save so many of you from having to live this way for as long as I did before finding out the truth. I'm hoping that we can nip this in the bud. You guys deserve a fulfilling life, and out of that, a fulfilling professional working relationship with your job, your employees, your clients. You need to feel needed, but you also need to feel happy while offering value. Yes, you need to bring value. Yes, you need to bring a good work ethic. Yes, you need to be bringing those things, but you also deserve to pay your bills, to feel valued, just to be taken care of by your organization. If you're going to throw away 40 to 50 to 60 hours of your week to a job, to somebody who owns the business, you don't own the business, they do, and you're throwing away your personal time that you could be spending with your family, then they need to appreciate it. And if they're not, if they're going to treat you like an option, then you need to leave them like a choice, straight up. So this quote is actually from the Tim Ferriss's interview with Veronica Belmont, and it can be found in his book, The Tribe of Mentors, written by Tim Ferriss. This quote can be found on page 56 in his hardback version, and I highly recommend, if you haven't read Tribe of Mentors, you need to check it out. He basically game planned all of the people he would like to get life advice from, sat them down, interviewed them, and got the best little tidbits of the interviews and put them into a book for you guys, for me. And it was probably one of the greatest purchases I've ever had. And I frequently read it and reread it and find little stories in there to help me at my season. My season of my life will change, so I'll need different content at different stages, and you will too. So I highly recommend you find your book that you can flip through from time to time that will give you new content that maybe you overlooked when you were in a different season, and you can now come back to it and you're like, wow, that's really meaningful to me. I can actually work with that now. So moving on. What's new with me? A lot of you who follow my social media accounts are also probably aware. The other night, I had a few too many glasses of bourbon, right? And I applied for an MBA program with a prestigious university. So I have never been capable of one-dimensional thinking. And I personally feel that the more often you push yourself out of your comfort zone, the more often you're going to find yourself living a happy and fulfilled life in line with your life mission statement. So that being said, I don't know if the application process will work out for a whole host of reasons. I've been interested in getting my MBA and actually my PhD for a long time, but I'm not completely going to be heartbroken if it's not something I can accomplish at this season in my life. I have plenty of time, and I'm not doing it just for a label. I'm doing it specifically because I enjoy education. So I would like to get this education. I'd like to learn from people who have owned businesses, and as it turns out, in this university, these professors have owned businesses and currently own several businesses. They just teach in their spare time. So really interested to see how it all shakes out. I'll make sure I keep you guys updated. But in the meantime, I'm constantly building new things for you guys. I'm contemplating adding some apparel items to our store on Patreon, which would be available to the members only. So if you guys are interested in doing that, let me know. I just want to make sure that you guys know that I'm always getting out of my comfort zone. I'm always doing crazy shit, but you're allowed to do that. I don't care what anyone thinks, and you shouldn't either. It's your fucking life. You're going to blink and one day it's going to be gone. So do the stupid shit now. Make the mistakes now. While you're younger than 40, make the mistakes now. You have time to repair them. I promise you, you do. Do the crazy shit. Take the risk, because now's the time you're going to reap the rewards. So go ahead, put yourself out there, do the shit that everyone is too scared to do, and I promise you, you're going to luck out. And people are going to be like, oh, they just have good luck. No, motherfucker, they put in the work. They took the risk, and they didn't give a shit what you thought at the time. So don't be afraid. Don't let other people's opinions of you, or even potential opinions of you, decide what you're going to do with your life. Moving on, my biggest takeaway from this week. This is huge, guys, because we're coming into the holidays. I really want to take a second and focus on this. Maintaining mindfulness while moving into the holidays. So we're here, right? It's Halloween. Well, it's past Halloween now, but we're here at a holiday. Thanksgiving's coming up, and then Christmas and New Year's. There is a lot of stress packed into these next 2 months. I promise you, we all go through it. And I just want to put out there that I want you guys to take care of yourself, because I know how stressful these upcoming months are. And there's so many reasons for that, including, there are 2 months left in the year and you haven't accomplished the goals that maybe you set out to accomplish at the first of the year. That could be one stressor. Another could be your parents or your family members are just stressing you out, man. Or 3, you're struggling financially, and the cost associated with the gifts and gatherings for the holidays are having maybe to ask off from your job. It's just costing you your mental sanity. Or number 4, you suffer from depression already, and the holidays just seem to make it worse. There's so many other reasons compiled on top of that, but that seems to be the most common factors for a lot of people. So my best advice, if you're taking medications that the doctors prescribed you, don't stop taking them unless the doctor tells you to. A lot of people who are on things like anxiety medicines or, antidepressants will just have a habit of being like, I don't feel like this is working, I'm going to stop taking them, without consulting with a physician. And some of these medications can have seriously harmful effects where if you actually stop taking them suddenly instead of weaning yourself off, you can cause yourself way more harm than good in the long run. So be sure that you don't make any drastic life decisions during these next 2 months, things that you may regret later or things that could potentially harm you. I always recommend keeping in touch with your dentist, your doctor, because these are also the sick months, times when the temperatures are changing. You may get sick, you may get a tickle in your throat. I feel it, I've got it now. So we talked about the meds. If you're already taking meds, you shouldn't stop unless you're directed by your doctor. I also want to say meditate. Use your meditation. Do it at least for 5 minutes each day, either using an app on your phone or just doing it on your own. But meditate. I promise you it makes a difference when it's compiled over time. And for another thing, take time to do something you enjoy each day, whether it's reading in a book, assembling a jigsaw puzzle, a DIY project, or DIY. Sorry guys, it's late. Or hanging with your family, being present with them, aka not on your phone or other screens, or just journaling, and these things can take anywhere between 10-30 minutes, something like that. Just take time for yourself. And another thing, if you're looking for some helpful tips, tricks, check out our episode 11 for this podcast. We gave a ton of helpful information, everything from apps to things we've tried, health. I think we went over a lot of stuff. We had 10 apps, 10, 15. Yeah. So